are you, Paul?
I'm good.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's good.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited, you know, because independent digital broadcasting is an exciting space to be in.
It is.
And here we are.
We are.
In it, a part of the very disruption that will threaten the incumbent ways that you and I make money.
Exactly.
But you carry a lot of sway with the good folks at Air New Zealand. You've just done their latest television campaign.
Yeah, Dave the Goose.
Dave the Goose.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, he's a goose, but he's Bryan Brown goose, which is pretty fab. Because I've known Bryan for a long time, worked with him in the past, and that was pretty exciting, working with Bryan again, because he's an amazing actor, amazing guy.
G'day. I know what you're thinking. Why is that bird boarding an Air New Zealand flight to Los Angeles? Well, I used to do all my own long-haul flying, but this migrating across the Pacific thing is hard work. How long till we land, mate?
Mate, about 17 days. Isn't the weather nice?
Where'd he go?
This is part Bryan, part you.
Yeah, Bryan's the good. Well, I'm kind of the idiot leaping around physical stuff. They got me in a green suit and put dots all over me, and they said they had to give me a false stomach, you know, like a woman pregnant, like silicon stomach, which looked awful. So I had to wear that thing and basically goose around and do all of the movements for the goose and stuff, which I know this sounds weird, but I actually looked at what geese do and how they move and their necks and stuff, which are they're quite like sort of snakes and so on. So I basically look like I made a fool of myself because they were all watching me when I was doing this. I mean, I remember when I first saw the first finished animation of one moment in it where the steward goes, "Kia ora, welcome aboard." And then the goose goes, "Sorry?" And literally it was Bryan's ad-lib with that, and they did it with the little goose doing the little head move, and it was perfect. And then I went, right, we're on a winner. This is going to be great. So it was fun.
I think that's a really tricky part, which we'll get into, I'm sure. But when it comes to animating anthropomorphic human qualities onto animals, it can either look fantastic or it can be a bit like the straight-to-DVD Disney stuff that not everybody sees.
Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's not that.
But that did go, I think, straight to DVD. Oh no, the Barbie movies do as well. But we digress.
No, that's
we were talking about 3D animation.
We were talking about 3D.
And the guys who made it out of this amazing post place called Blockhead, which are they're New Zealand based, but they're also now here in Australia, and they did an astounding job because it was an enormously long period that it took to get it that good, and there was so many layers of stuff you'd keep going back and reworking. And it was interesting because just before we started doing this, probably the best piece of character animation, which was the Jungle Book, came out, and that was an eye-opener. I mean, it was like we all looked at him and wow. Yeah, but you know what I mean. And so yeah, even though we're dealing with one character, I think the interesting thing, and this is the interesting, sad, and scary, is some people think we actually shot it with a real goose, and we animated the mouth and stuff, you know what I mean, like Babe and stuff like that. People think we actually shot it with a real, and some of it does look like a real goose, of course. And the goose looks very believable and very real.
Did you know these guys were voted best airline in the world 3 years in a row? Probably not. Kiwis, eh? Never blow their own trumpet. Except about the rugby.
Thank you. See you again.
Sure will.
I think what's great about it is he's such a complex character in terms of just the layers of how which is what, you know, Bryan Brown brings to it so wonderfully. And I think that's why people love it from that point of view, because you're not sort of watching an animated character, you're just watching a guy. Yeah. An Aussie goose guy. Pretty funny.
At what point did you decide I'm going to be the goose?
I don't know, because there's not an ego thing in it, because I got dressed up in this green outfit and they had tracking markers all over me. And a lot of that was more to do with body language for timing, for humour. Because what I did is I had Bryan's soundtrack and I was miming to it. So, yeah, Bryan, and I'd be actually miming being the goose. And they had my cap, because I wear a cap normally anyway, so that was kind of the beak area. And then they wanted to make sure I had enough girth.
Because the front of a goose protrudes
Yeah, he's got a beer gut, basically, and
It's wings. And
yeah, it was a big gut thing in it. And so they gave me a pregnant woman's silicone stomach.
Excellent.
That's good times. And so I whacked this on, and so they had sort of 5 cameras going when we were shooting, and I spent half, maybe 3/4 of a day blocking the whole thing. And then that material was used and got out too. They decided, nobody said, do you mind if we show this? Yeah, no, this looks good.
So they made the big, like kind of Lily Tomlin chair for you to sit on. They made like a really big airline seat.
No.
It's just you on a couch.
Yeah, it's just me, yeah. There's stuff they build up, and yeah, no, it wasn't that. And I think another reason I did it was because I'm cheap. Because they didn't have to pay anybody to do that. Yeah, it was one of my great regrets, I think. It's pretty humiliating. I must admit, sitting there, and I just feel like an absolute dork. You know what I mean? And it's like, but not fun.
But as a director, how are you going to, like, particularly there's a line in the ad where they refer to pavlova.
Good evening, sir. What can I offer you for dinner? I've got the chicken couscous or, sorry, vegetable curry it is.
Bingo. Delicious Kiwi cuisine. Have you got anything Australian? Like Pav?
And there's a look to camera that the Goose
That's
does.
an Eddie Murphy look. That's Eddie Murphy's look from Trading Places, where they took. Do you know that
Yeah, of
look
course
where he
I know
talks
it.
about
I know the
pork belly is such as one would find in a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, and he does that look, and it's a very deliberate half-head cock turn.
Yeah.
I did that, but I stole that from Eddie.
Yeah, but you are basically you're breaking down. I mean, as a director, most of the time you're trying to get actors to do the things that you see in your brain. This time you didn't have to do it.
No, but it was kind of cool because when we got the timing, it took us a long time to get that head at exactly the right time and hold the shot for the right amount of time to get the humour from it. When he goes, you got anything Australian, like Pav? and it was great fun. Those little things is where he came to life. That was I loved all that stuff because him as a character. You see, Bryan. What I love is Dave as a character was very much like Bryan walking into the studio. Like, g'day, Ditchy. Here you go, mate. Come in. Yeah. And he'd get into the booth and. He doesn't swear. I swear a bit, but he didn't swear. But he'd get into the booth, and he was very animated and very eager and great ideas. So you had this kind of idea of this goose it's almost like his first trip. Those really annoying people you fly with, who ask you inane stuff like, "You going on a trip?" "Well, yeah, I'm in a plane." You know what I mean? And that
Where
sort
are
of
you
stuff. Exactly. Yeah, off to LA. Me too. Funny you think. And that was what was wonderful about Bryan is he had the idea. It's almost like this goose came from Orange. You know what I mean? And he hadn't really seen much. We had a whole sub thing going on, which I won't go much into, but the thing is the idea of what would it have been like if he was because we shot at the Mondrian in LA, which is probably the most distinctive bar.
It's a beautiful bar. It's on
And
Sunset
everybody
Boulevard.
who knows it sees that and goes, they did shoot that in LA.
Yeah,
and they know
I was
exactly
like, wow, you went to LA for that. You really did.
Yeah.
OMG. Good one, champ. You look very familiar. You an actor?
Discover a better way to fly to North and South America.
Kia ora, sir.
G'day.
How are you today? Travelling to LA?
Yeah. And we actually had the idea, what would it be like if he met a girl, and how would he be responding to her, if she was trying to pick him up or something like that. And his inane responses were, like, "Hey, what are you going to be doing later?" "Probably sleeping and have something to eat." You know what I mean? and you just had the idea that this guy, and I think that would be an exciting thing for the continuing journey of Dave to see what it'd be like if he met another goose, like from South America.
Oh.
It'd be kind of
Migratory.
Oh, you know what I mean? Could you? That'd be cool, man. I mean, what a brilliant idea. There's no better idea, I reckon, than a migrating bird chooses this airline to fly with. It's kind of good, eh? I mean, it's brilliant. So
Well, this airline flies to, we're talking New Zealand, they fly to South America, so you never know.
they do, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hint.